I have a couple of clients who I've been working with this year, one-on-one, a combination with my mastermind, and some of them haven't just doubled or tripled their income, but they have 5x'd their monthly income this year in 2024. Do you want to know how they did that? They did it by focusing on their outer circle content, which means the content that is geared towards attracting the new, right, ideal clients for your business through socials. So in this episode, I'm going to dive into why you're not attracting new clients on your socials and how to fix it. Hello, and welcome to Fail to Win, the show where we love to make mistakes and learn from them so you can turn your passion into profits and live life on your own terms. I'm Amy van der Putten from FastForwardAmy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode with simple strategies every Tuesday. Let's look at today not necessarily as an episode that is like, you need to do exactly this, but I want to focus more on just giving you the insights, and these are relevant to me as well, by the way, because I tend to make these mistakes as well, like the insights of why you are spending time online and why you are creating content and why you might be making stories and stuff, but still not attracting those new ideal clients. I've made a couple of episodes about this before in my series that went live in August and September. There's a 6-figure secrets series. I made an episode about why your clients can't afford to work with you and how to attract the right type of clients through your content. So we're going to build a little bit on that. So definitely make sure you check out that episode. Let me look up what that number episode was. That was actually episode 250, and I saw a lot of people respond to that, which is why I thought, okay, let's make the follow-up. So what is happening online? You might be making a lot of content. You might be scrolling a lot. You might be saving videos and reels, and you might be seeing other people make stories, and you're like, okay, I'm online. I'm fairly consistent, yet I don't feel like I'm attracting new clients. You feel like you're talking to the same people over and over again. And what happens is after a while, it will start feeling like the well has dried up. And I've had this happen to me a couple of times in the past. And I actually just had a meeting with my marketing manager where I told her, hey, we've been making really good podcasts. A lot of the things we've been doing is really good, but we're not focusing enough on the outer circle content. And that is what I want to talk about with you today as well. So the thing is, when you are making stories, you are inherently not getting shown to new people because your stories are something that you make more for the people who are already following you. But a couple of years ago, there was this really big shift online going from really loud content to, oh, we want to make it more personal. You know, people went from Snapchat to Instagram stories, and stories started becoming a really big deal. The link click used to be the swipe up, and that was a feature that was only available for people with over 10,000 followers. So all of that was very intimate and a little bit rare, but then things started getting more and more standardized. More and more people started learning how to make stories. And what happened then is that actually the feed and reels and things got more and more of a competitive advantage again. But a lot of people are still stuck in creating stories, being surprised that they're not getting new leads in. And for example, creating really static, really old content. And the biggest problem in that content is not necessarily the fact that it's very static content on the feed, because actually you can actually attract new potential clients with carousels, for example. But the biggest problem is that we don't realize that we are talking to an audience that already knows us instead of talking to a new audience. And 2 years ago, I tested this out for myself and it was like a year and a half ago, I created a new TikTok account and I was like, okay, I want to attract a new open up a new well, attract a new audience. So I'm going to create a TikTok account where I have 0 followers and I'm assuming no one knows me, which was true. And I started realizing that when you are on a new account, on a new platform, you start communicating in a different way because no one is following you yet. So you need to explain why people should follow you or why what you are saying, that there's proof that what you are saying is relevant. And when you are always on your account that you've had for 10 years, you might be forgetting to actually show why people should follow you. So for example, for me, I was creating these little videos of getting my daily steps total in, which was a lot of fun. I put this challenge up for myself, 10K steps a day, and I started testing those videos. And there were these videos where I said, this is how I'm getting 10K steps a day in as a busy entrepreneur. And I would just start, for example, with a video of me walking versus this is how I'm getting 10K steps a day in as a busy entrepreneur. And the first video in that reel would be me talking on stage. Guess which video got the most views? It's the second type of video that got the most views, because I can say I'm a busy entrepreneur, or I can say I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur, but if I'm not showing it, chances are low that people are actually going to consider me to be not lying. So basically, when I'm showing the fact that I'm standing up on a stage speaking to an audience, I'm attracting a lot more attention. So what we want to do is we want to shift our perspective in how we are creating content. And the biggest thing I teach my clients inside of my online business club is that sales content is one thing. Sales content is when you are talking to people who already like your brand and you're convincing them to buy something from you, is not the same as talking to people who don't know you yet and convincing them not to buy something, but to actually like you and your brand enough to stay along and to follow along, actually. So make a shift from thinking stories to thinking feed. That's the first shift you want to make. And then you want to make a little shift in your languaging. And instead of always talking to someone you already know and you might be afraid of actually, or you want to sell something to, you're not selling your products. You are selling your brand, and you're always gearing your videos on your feed towards new people. So what you want to take into account there is my next tip is that make sure that you don't forget about your authority. So for example, I have a couple of clients who are following my digital pilot challenge, who are following my challenge basically to make an online income in 21 days. And their biggest struggle is attracting new clients, but they actually have a lot of experience in their business already. And the secret there is that they get to use that experience from their previous business or from their offline business and put it into their online business. So let's say you're starting out online and you want to attract new leads for your online business. Leads being your potential clients. Let's say I used to be a fitness coach and I had a studio with a wait list full of people, and then I was starting out with my first online product. And what I could do is I could use the authority from having a fully booked studio to then launch an online product. There's a really big difference between saying my studio is fully booked and I have a running wait list, so here's my new online product that you can follow at home. Sounds pretty good, versus saying I've never made an online product before, I don't know what I'm doing, here's my online product. The first one is going to go over much better. So let's say you are starting your first HR program online and you have 20 years of experience in offline businesses. You would say that. You would say, I have more than 20 years of experience coaching more than 50 businesses on XYZ. And you would use that authority in your videos that you're then going to use to attract an audience to follow along online on what you're talking about HR-wise. So make sure you are inserting authority in your videos. I like to look at it as you can do that in words, but you can do it with footage as well. So make sure you have some footage of you doing shit. Usually I say that a video of me in my office won't perform as well as a video of me in front of a room full of people. Those videos are usually much better. It's just your environment that you want to check. This is also why you always want to be filming when you are somewhere. So context, I think, is a really big one that you want to add to your videos if you want to attract new people for your service. And what you also want to do is maybe add reviews. If you have happy clients, if you have experiences from people who use your service or whatever, you want to make sure that you are adding that. You don't want to come off as a fully newbie. There's no issue saying that it's just you or that a product is new, but you do want to make sure people know that you kind of know your shit. And in the beginning, sometimes you kind of have to fake it till you make it. All in all, what I want you to remember is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. I have a little folder on my Instagram, business inspiration. And when I see good reels from other people in my sector, I'll save those videos to that folder. I also save travel hotels and food tips. I just put them in different folders so that when I want to make a video about online business, for example, I'll go into the folder of online business inspiration. I'll never copy someone else's videos. I'll never copy someone else's exact messaging. It wouldn't work because I am my own brand, but I can use that as inspiration and I don't need to reinvent the whole wheel in order to go and make content. It's not 2020 anymore. And what I mean by that is it's not enough anymore to be one of the first people who made a video. When I was starting out online, it was pretty spectacular if you dared to film yourself and make a video with value in it and post it online. In today's day and age, that's just not going to cut it anymore. But the good news is that doesn't mean that it's not possible to stand out anymore. It just means that you kind of have to take a few more things into account. But rest assured, it is easier than ever to make video content today. It's much easier than it was when I was starting out. When I started out with my business, it was like 2015, 2016. I didn't start out with online content, but when I started making online content, there weren't a whole lot of examples. Reels didn't exist yet. Stories didn't exist yet in the beginning when I was starting out online. And there weren't a lot of people sharing how they did things. Today, there's so many people sharing how they're doing things, and there's so many people in your sector showing how they're crushing it in your sector. All you need to do is, open a TikTok account, fill out some of the keywords that you're about, like if you're in a secondhand clothing niche, if you're crafting, services, business coaching, like it doesn't matter. There is already someone making content about that thing that you are doing. You just need to make a little bit of time in your calendar and take 1 to 2 hours to go out, venture outside and look at what other people are doing and then turn it into your own thing. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. And so I think if I'm circling back, this is part of the Millionaire content secrets, right? Is that the biggest secret for your online business? It's not a secret, but it's content works. It still works. Yes, there's a lot of competition, but the e-learning and mobile learning sector and e-commerce, all of these sectors are rising almost by like 10% each year. We have 9% increase in e-learning. The mobile learning economy is rising by over 20%. E-commerce is rising by over 9% each year. These numbers are incredible, and you can get a piece of that cake. All you need to do is you need to be disciplined enough to get consistent, and you need to not post from your ego and think, I'm going to invent all of this from scratch. No, you need to look at what is working. How can I do my own thing with it? How can I stay ahead, but not too far ahead and try something fully new? You need to kind of like hop on trends, but make it your own thing. But you don't want to be posting like it's 2020. A static quote in an ugly layout that you made in Canva and you spend 2 hours on is not going to help you grow. A video with a trending sound that is about your beliefs and is adding some value, for example, is going to work. You can't, so I see this online all the time. People want to make 10K months, 20K months, 30K months. People come to me and they post on my stories and they're like, yeah, I want to be a millionaire, but they're not willing to put in the actual work. Does that mean we all want to burn out by the time we hit $1 million? No, you don't need to. But if you want to do something, if you want to achieve something you've never achieved before, increase your revenue, make $1 million, stuff like that, attract 100 new clients, you're going to have to do something you've never done before. And my suggestion to you in this year and next year as well is go all in on your content, and you're going to see that your entire bottom line is going to change. And I know that it's a lot of work, so you might feel a little bit intimidated about it, but luckily there's also things that can help you. And I've shared this before, but if you want to grow from 6 figures to 7 figures, for example, nurturing content is also going to be a really big one. So what we were just talking about is more outer circle content, new eyeballs. But if you have those eyeballs, then the next step is to actually nurture those people, warm them up so that they want to buy from you. And that's what you do with podcasts, long form content like your newsletter, podcast, longer videos, lives. And from that content, you can create new content. And one of the easiest ways to do that today is with AI. And I do this every week. I use ChatGPT to write some of the copy I use for my podcast. And it's never perfect, but if I'm writing something, it's also not perfect. But it does just save me a ton of time with my transcript, because I can use the transcript to turn it into a blog post and an email and all of that. And it just saves me a lot of time so that I don't need to spend tons of money, for example, on a copywriter. And I just love the fact that it saves me time. After all, it's FastForwardAmy, not Slow Down Amy. So if you feel like you're lagging behind a little bit, you're like, oh yeah, I mean, I've seen everyone post about ChatGPT, but I just want to do things myself. Just remember that I used to already outsource a part of my copy. The fun thing now is that I get to just do it like right after this episode. I'll rip out the transcript and I'll talk to ChatGPT about, hey, tell me which quotes I said in this episode that were good. Could I post them on my socials? Which ones would be good for other people to share? Stuff like that. I don't need someone else for it now. I can just kind of like brainstorm with my computer, but you might be wondering about how to do that. So the way I do it is I record a podcast episode and I turn it into 8 to 10 pieces of other content. And I do that with the help of ChatGPT. And it's my gift to you that I'm going to show you for free how I do that. So if you want my content buddy tutorial of how I use ChatGPT for my content creation, just go to the link in the description or DM me buddy on Instagram. So just DM me the word buddy on Instagram on FastForwardAmy, and I'll send you the link to my Loom where I'm showing you how you can create 10 pieces of content from one single live or podcast episode or video, okay? Have so much fun. I hope you have a couple of takeaways from this episode. The biggest takeaway should be that you just need to prime your mind to be like, okay, how is this relevant to a new follower? How can I attract new people with this? And from there, shift your content so that it works and it will attract new clients. And never forget, I tell this to my clients as well, even if your business is doing well, never forget to continue to attract new leads. You never want to stop filling the pipeline. Even when it's going well, make sure it keeps on going well by attracting new leads, okay? Good luck, and talk to you next week for a new episode of the Millionaire Content Secrets. And if you like this, I would love it if you could leave a little review. I know you're busy and I know you want to go and grab the tutorial right now, but I'm making these episodes every single week for you. I'm really putting a lot of soul into this. I hope it helps the lead magnets as well. And I hope if you like this, that you'll leave me some stars or just simply click subscribe or follow. That actually also helps me a ton. And that way, maybe you and I can reach more people who also will start learning that it's okay to fail, because if you want to win, you gotta fail first. And that's why this is called the Fail to Win podcast. Okay? Have a happy day and talk to you next week. Bye. You want to make money on Instagram, but you're not exactly sure what you actually need in order to make that happen. Chances are you're creating content and you're trying different things, but it seems to not really click together, and you're wondering why those other people are getting in all of those sales, but you aren't. Well, in reality, even if you're only selling for 30 euros every day, that's an extra 1,000 a month if you can make it work. But so many people actually can't because they don't see the full picture and they are missing one key element. That's why I've made the Instagram income map for my clients, which is a PDF workbook that you can go through in 1 hour. You'll discover the 8 building blocks that determine whether you just attract clients on Instagram or just talk about sales, or that you can actually go from attracting clients to getting in sales every single day. And I want that for you. So you can go and grab the workbook now, available for only 27 euros for a limited time. Go to fastforwardamy.com/income map and I'll send it over to you instantly, or click the link in the description of this episode.